Hello, peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullah. Peace be upon you, brothers and sisters. Appreciate you joining me here today on this, my 11th video, if you don't count the Haunted Chip Challenge. I appreciate you being here as always. If you are new to this page, I would please ask you to return to the first video and begin there, and then follow along so that you're up to speed with us here. And Jazakallah khairan, may God bless you indeed. Bless you all indeed for being here and for all your support. Please hit the like button, the thumbs up, if you get anything out of this. This will allow you to increase this video's presence out there on the web, and that more people, more brothers and sisters, and more people looking for hope and things, looking for things that help them, will find this and therefore be helped by it as well. And please subscribe so that you'll always know when I'm going to post something new. Today's subject, I mean, actually all the subjects are very near and dear to me, and to my heart, but this one in particular, and of course, if you followed me along since the beginning, you'll of course understand why this is so very important to me and why this is so close to me in my heart, because nothing defines my life as a Muslim, as a believer in God, more than my gratitude for Him and for all He's done. And so I noticed when one of the read-throughs of the Quran, that a particular verse, and in fact this verse has been repeated in various ways throughout the Quran, this particular message, but this is where I first came across it, was in Al-Baqarah, and which of course is the second chapter, the largest chapter of the Quran. And in it, he says, sorry, I apologize. Where was I? Okay. So it's about gratitude, in particular. And so he says, and this is towards the sort of like the middle of the chapter, but in fact, verse 1, ayat 152. Therefore remember me by praying, glorifying me. I will remember you, and be grateful to me for my countless favors on you, and never be ungrateful to me. And that actually corresponded with another verse I read, and this was in Surat al-Jonas, which is the 14th chapter of the Quran. This is the part that, when I read this the first time, I swear it broke my heart. So here's the translation that I read, and it says, "And when affliction touches man, he calls upon us meaning God, Allah." Sometimes you'll notice that in the Quran, Allah will sometimes refer to Himself in the third person. If you do the studying, you will realize that this is not unusual, that a lot of people in a high position, a royal position, will refer to them in the third person, like kings used to do that. We decree. So that's all it is. And of course, who is a greater the king than God, the Creator? None. Right? So he says, when affliction touches man, he calls upon us, whether lying on his side or sitting or standing. But when we remove him from his affliction, he continues as if he had never called upon us. So, sorry, it's tough. It's really tough for me to think that. And why that bothers me so much is because I know what that's like. I can identify with that. I can identify with not being appreciated. And this is coming from God. And God is reflecting how very seldom people appreciate Him. And people are just so ignorant of just how much we are in His debt. how much he gives us, you know? So let me give you an example. And I don't want to call out names, and I won't. I don't do that. If you know who you are and you hear this, I apologize, but if you understand the nature of what we're talking about here and the nature of this message, then I know you'll understand and you'll agree. So nothing happens by chance. Everything is intended. Everything is meant to be. Okay? So a person I know, for example, a friend of mine, a long-time friend, she's kuffar. She's not a believer. She does believe in God the Creator, but she's just not really focusing or devoting herself to any particular thought, any kind of faith. She just believes in God, and then she kind of just leaves it alone. But I've been friends with her for a long time, decades before I reverted. So, and she's a very, very good person, very good-hearted person. She volunteers. She used to work at Big Cat Rescue. She loves animals. She's a wonderful soul. In fact, I got to tell you, honestly, hers is the kindest heart I've ever met out of all the souls I've ever met in my life, Muslim and non-Muslim combined. That's how precious she is. She cried her heart out one time just watching a goldfish die. Okay, you have no idea just how precious her heart is. I know for a fact Allah loves her, and He treasures that heart, even if she doesn't pray. That's totally not. We're not here to judge. But, anyways, so she sometimes calls me when she's really upset and has to vent. A lot of friends do that to me, and I guess I can help people. I don't know how, but somehow I'm able to help people when I talk to them. So she was really upset, and she was really freaking out. She doesn't like the home she lives in, the neighborhood she lives in. A lot of horrible things are happening there. She's very, very stressed out financially. Her family needs this, and her children need that, and then she's trying to move out of the place she's in. She's trying to, just get her house on the market and sell it, and there's a lot of stress there, and she just wants to get out of there, and she just all this stress is bottling up. And then it hit its peak when she noticed that this window wouldn't close and lock, and she's like, oh no, I mean, it's warped or something about the molding or something that the window was in. It just wasn't done right. The contractors messed up when they built the place, and she's like, oh, the inspector's going to find this, and now I got to get it fixed. And so she got a quote on what it's going to cost her to fix it, and it's something, some outlandish amount of money, like $10,000. And she's like, I don't have that. My kid's in college and all this. And she was just losing her mind. She was freaking out. She was crying. She was frustrated and crying and frustrated. And I'm just there for her. And I told her, I said, look, listen. At the end of our conversation, I said, listen, yours is the truest, kindest, sweetest heart I've ever known. I know God treasures that heart. I know He does. And I know in my heart He would not have made someone like this, someone as special as you, if He didn't have good things intended for you. So this is not where this road ends for you. I just know it. I said, just trust in the Lord. Trust that something that you'll get through this. And my talk helped her. Well, that night I prayed Qiyam Allah, and I made a special prayer to Allah, and I made a dua for her, and I said, Lord, I wish I could get her to see you the way that I do. I wish I could. I can't. I don't have that power. I can't make the blind see. I can't make the deaf hear, unfortunately. But she is a good soul. A really good soul, and she's trying so hard. Please help her. Please help her, Allah. Please. Next thing you know, she can close her window and lock it. And the next day, she texts me and she said the house is officially on the market. That everything is going. The whole thing took a 180-degree turn. And she went from being like at the absolute bottom to being so happy and so relieved. Now, if you look back at Surat al-Yunus, when affliction touches man, he calls upon us, whether lying on his side or sitting or standing. But when we remove this affliction, he continues as if we had never been called upon us. I knew, without even a second's hesitation, this was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was Allah. He did this for her. He got her window fixed. He helped her get her house on the market. He did that. Now, how many people out there in the world, Muslim or even Muslim or non-Muslim alike, would have attributed this to coincidence? Or would have said, oh, this was because of me, or this was because of my realtor, or blah, blah, blah. It was not because of any of those things. I know. Because my fitra knows. Because my iman knows. It was, without question, God. It was Allah. There is no other answer. So, of course, right away, I thanked him. I said, I know that could not have happened without you. It breaks my heart to think that you might never hear thanks from her, but you're definitely hearing thanks from me, because I know what you did. I know you answered that prayer I made, and I know you helped her, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you, Allah. And I still make dua for her every night, and I pray that, and all my friends that are non-Muslim, I pray that Allah somehow touches them the way He did me. That God reveals Himself to him the way He did me. But the point I'm trying to make here is that when we make a prayer, when we ask for help, and the help comes, you must remember to thank your Lord and Creator. You must remember. Don't think that just because something wasn't handed to you on a silver platter with 10 angels on wings, that it didn't come from the Creator. Everything is from the Creator. Everything. Not a single atom moves through space without His knowledge and His will. This is a simple fact. So when you make dua, when you make prayer to say, hey, I can't pay my bills, I'm having financial trouble, help me out, and then a week later you get a check in the mail saying, hey, you just won a lawsuit against something, and you have a class action lawsuit for X number of dollars, and it's enough to pay your rent and pay your groceries and do all those things you needed to do, and you don't think for a minute that did not come from Allah? Of course it did. There are so many times things happen in your life that you just pass you by, momentary, minute things, and you might attribute them to coincidence. There is no coincidence. There is no coincidence. God wrote the Kitab al-Mubin 50,000 years before He even created the universe. And in it is the chronicle of every single thing that will ever happen. Ever. The falling of a leaf on a tree on the other side of the planet. Every single second of existence is chronicled there. Everything. There is nothing that He is not aware of. Nothing. So when those things happen, even the little things, be sure to show gratefulness. Be sure to show gratitude. Because you know what? He doesn't have to do these things. He doesn't have to help you. He doesn't have to do anything. He's the creator. He can completely ignore you if he wants. He can eliminate you like that. Replace you with something else. And he's done it. Think of the people in the past who have, in their arrogance, just ignored him. And where are they now? Where are their kingdoms? Where are their great? They're gone. They're nothing but dust and bones. Nothing. All their greatness gone. Ruins, maybe, if that. And for those who are ungrateful, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes on the Day of Atonement. Can you imagine standing there in front of the Creator, holding your own book in your hand of all your deeds? This is going to happen. This isn't like some fairy tale. This is a matter of actual simple fact. This will happen. This will happen. Every single one of us will stand before our Creator, and we will have to read from a book of our deeds. Now, God has promised that those He's forgiven us, those deeds He's forgiven us of, we won't be judged on them, but we will read them. We will read them. Every single one of them. So do you want to have to explain that to Him? Why? How many times He bailed you out and how many times you just turned your back on the Creator? I try to make a point every night before I go to bed, in my last prayer of the night, because I remember that passage, and I say, God, don't count me amongst those who have forgotten you, because I'm not one of them. I remember you. Don't count me amongst those who do not appreciate you, because I appreciate you. I know that you work for us 24/7, and you never take a break, and you never tire, and you never stop looking out for us. All you want is good things for us, and all you want in return is just our love. And I give that to you freely. I give you my heart freely, my God. It is the only thing I have that is worth anything, and it's yours. It's yours. It's yours. And even if, in God's mercy, He does accept me to Jannah, which, inshallah, perhaps He will, I'm going to mention to Him, please, don't ever take away the memories of all my scars, of all that I went through to get here. Because that is what defines my adoration and appreciation of you. Remembering the darkness that was once swallowing me up, and remembering that feeling of when that darkness went away. Remembering that feeling of being lost, being lonely, being alone, being homesick. And then that feeling when you answered me, my God, when you answered my crying soul. That feeling that filled my heart with such joy, such happiness, I wept and wept and shook and wept. It was so overwhelming. I thought I was going to explode. I don't want to ever forget that. I don't want to ever forget that. Because it's what makes me me. It's why I'm even here right now talking to all of you. Because I want that for you. If you've never felt that before, I want that for you. If you've never felt that before, you have no idea. And that's all I want. More than anything. More than anything else in the world. I want to see as many people turn to God. And I want to see them fill their heart filled with that same joy. And I want to see all that pain that you felt in your life. All that heartbreak. All that loneliness. I want to see it all gone. All gone. All wiped away. In this moment of just sheer joy. That will then remain in your heart. Now you must keep that fire kindled. You do that through prayer every day. Every day you maintain that connection with the Lord. And through just general decency, kindness, you spread it, right? And forgiveness. Forgiveness is a huge, huge, huge thing that God loves. And of course, charity. Give to others, even if it's a smile, even if it's just a heart, or a favor. Hey, I can do this for you. Here, let me help you do this. Let me help you do that. These simple things. Do good works. Do good works. Each of these things is in its form its own worship. And as God says in Al-Baqarah, the more you give, the more you get. And of course, we know that God gives much more than he gets. So, I just want you to think about this in your life. I want you to look back on those moments of your life when it seemed like there was nothing that could happen, nothing could be helped, and then somehow you got the help. And you forgot to turn back to God and say thank you. Do it now. Turn to God and thank him now. Okay? And just remain grateful. I mean, this is a gift that we have. This life is a gift. It's a test, but it's a gift too. And, we could easily lose it just as quickly as we got it. So I think, and every moment you do good here, it adds to the treasure that you have waiting for you. And, that's the most important thing too. You want to build up as much as you can. And you do that by sharing good. Those who completely immerse themselves in this world, those who live off of the suffering of the innocent, those who prey on others, they'll have nothing hereafter. Nothing. Nothing but fire. And many of them will suffer in this life too. Oh yes, their health will rapidly deteriorate. They'll become very sickly and emaciated, crippled, blind. The more evil you do, the more it's going to catch up to you. And this is a fact. So do good. Do good so that good follows you. Okay? And be grateful. Be grateful of our Lord. And I'm grateful for you, every one of you, because that you inspire me to keep on going and sharing these things. Simple things. It doesn't have to be something great. Someone else told me one time, You know, when it comes to life, because life is always an uphill battle here in many respects. It's work, yeah, of course. But don't focus on the staircase, right? Don't look up. Don't look up at the top of the staircase and say, oh, how many thousands of steps is that? How am I ever gonna? Don't focus on the staircase. Focus on the step. Focus on each step. One at a time. That's it. Like one day at a time, one step at a time. Just keep going forward. Keep climbing up, one step at a time, at whatever pace you're comfortable with. But don't look up and don't look back. Focus on the now. Obviously, you know, keep a perspective. Yes, you want to keep going up. Yes, you have a goal. But don't focus so much on the goal that you don't even know where your own feet are, right? Because you can slip and fall when that happens. And you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to slip and fall after going up 100 stairs. Oh, you don't want to go. You don't want to have to do all that again, right? So just focus on where you're at, and just take it one step at a time. But be grateful. Be grateful, and remember when that moment when you could have slipped, and whose arm was that to help you up, right? I'm being a little figurative there, but you know what I'm saying. You get it. Be grateful, okay? Be grateful and let him know that you appreciate him. Let our Lord know you appreciate him. You do that, and you'll be surprised at how much easier those stairs are going to be. Assalamu alaikum. Blessing and peace of blessings and God be with you all. Thank you.